I don't think Mr. Cameron knows what his view is, quite frankly, towards the Middle East. In terms of Israel, specifically Israel, he has certainly softened his hitherto pro-Palestinian rhetoric. Soon after he became Prime Minister, he referred to Gaza as a prison. In other words, he was repeating the boilerplate prejudice that passes for political debate in Britain about the Middle East. Since the Gaza war, and particularly since the eruption of overtly anti-Jewish hostility on the streets of London and elsewhere in Britain, Mr. Cameron has suddenly woken up. And I think it's not just that. He was very horrified by the overt anti-Jewish prejudice. Now, the problem is that because of the rise of Islamic State, and because Iran is now in alliance with America against Islamic State, Mr. Cameron believes that therefore Iran is, tactically speaking, Britain's ally at present. This omits the obvious fact that, well, obvious to me, but not obvious to the British establishment, that in the Middle East, my enemy's enemy is sometimes still my enemy. It is not necessarily my friend. The British don't understand that. They think my enemy's enemy is my friend, and therefore they can make a tactical alliance. The British foreign policy establishment is simply incapable of understanding that in the Middle East, the principal actors operate on premises, on assumptions which are quite foreign to the British mind.
Mr. Netanyahu is about to arrive to Britain next month, and he will meet Mr. Cameron, and before his arrival, more than 85,000 people signed a petition for the arrest of Mr. Netanyahu, because in their view, he's a war criminal.
Yes. Well, in practical legal terms, this petition will go nowhere. As the head of state, Mr. Netanyahu is covered by diplomatic immunity, which means he cannot be arrested and prosecuted.
I'm talking about the numbers, yes. More than 85,000 people.
Indeed, and at 100,000 signatures on this government petition website, at 100,000 signatures, the government may or may not permit a debate in Parliament on the subject of the petition. The point is to engender a climate, to continue to foment a climate in which Israel is painted in diabolical terms.
Do they succeed?
Yes. In Britain, they have succeeded to a very large degree. Among the intelligentsia, it is a given that Israel is the principal actor in the region. It drives events. It's never the victim of events. It drives events. So the victimization of Israelis, the attacks on Israelis by whoever, by the Hamas from Gaza or by West Bank terrorists, West Bank-based terrorists, these things are never reported. The only thing that's reported in the British media is if and when Israel responds with a military kind of response. In other words, Israel is the driver in the region. Israel is considered to be the principal, in fact, the only reason why there is no peace in the Middle East. Nowhere in Britain is it ever reported what the Palestinian Authority presides over, the culture of indoctrination of its children from the cradle into hatred of Israelis, the belief that they're indoctrinated, they're inculcated with the aspiration that their highest goal in life is to grow up and murder Israelis and to take back not just the West Bank settlements, but to take back Yaffo, to take back Haifa, to take back Jerusalem. Nowhere in Britain is this ever reported. Nowhere in Britain is the demented Jew hatred that pours out of the Palestinian Authority, the Hamas-based and Palestinian-based propaganda that is now dominant in the British universities, in the British media, in the British cultural elites. Ordinary British people who don't belong to those elites know very little, but they are predisposed to think that black is black and white is white. Unfortunately, the elites which dominate the culture now say black is white and white is black.
Do you believe that Mr. Netanyahu will be able to change this view, to change this atmosphere in one meeting with Mr. Cameron? They were considered friends.
I would imagine that Prime Minister Netanyahu is particularly exercised by Britain's support for the American-led initiative on Iran and would wish to try to educate Mr. Cameron into the realities of the region. Now, whether he can do that, I have no idea. The impact that Mr. Netanyahu is likely to have on the British public is likely to be, in terms of positive impact, zero.
Sorry to hear that.
So
Thank
am
you
I.
very much, Ms. Mlni פיליפס.
Thank you.